I hope you guys have been having a good week, final week of classes. I noticed that the Sears Gallery has the uh, semester end exhibit up. There's faculty and student work there that might be interesting to check out if you guys are interested. Lots of different stuff. James, the curator there, has done an excellent job putting it all together. This last week, the module for this week is pretty simple. It's essentially nothing, so you can get everything else finished that you need to get done. And I just want you to have this week to get caught up on all the last things, the final projects, as well as any of the other assignments that you're missing. I have finished grading everything. The stuff that has not been turned in has a 0. Again, that's just to remind you to turn it in. And the last module is also going to be our final module. That's where you'll record the final assignment. And I will put that up on Sunday night, so you have the whole week of finals to get that final thing finished. And again, if you don't do it, it's going to be pretty much a whole letter grade off of whatever it is that you've earned through the semester. So please do not forget about that assignment and get that done. That will be due on Friday, May 5th, which is the last day of finals. Everything will be due Friday. If you find that you need a little bit more time or anything like that, get a hold of me and we'll see what we can do. But I'm seeing that a lot of people are getting stuff done. This morning I opened up my computer and found that a couple people had submitted a whole bunch of assignments all at once, and that is absolutely great. Get everything done, get it all finished, and things are looking good. A couple things that I'm seeing is some of the art movements that we've been talking about are really difficult for people to get their heads around, but I am very impressed. Particularly surrealism and abstraction. You guys have been doing an excellent job wrapping your hands around that and just kind of playing with it and enjoying it. I'm really liking what I'm seeing. The tendency for people when they do the abstraction, we're talking about emotions, is to rely on a face. And that can be problematic for a couple different reasons. Even though a lot of our emotions that we register on our face are pretty much universal, most people can tell what you're feeling just by looking at you. What we want to do with abstraction is kind of stay away from those physical cues that are easily recognizable. I'm sorry, we want cues that are recognizable, but we want to stay away from cues that mimic the real world directly. So we want to stay away from things like faces and stuff like that. Now, one student did something where the facial expressions were just like the broad strokes of the eyes and the mouth. And I think that's perfectly fine because it doesn't register as eyes and a mouth if that's not what you if that's not what you expect to see. It just looks like shapes, but the shapes are strong enough that it communicates the emotion without having to know that this is a face. So if you do decide to do the emotions by showing a face, rather than showing the whole face or showing a cartoon figure, what I would say is block it off. Come in for a close-up. So instead of painting the whole face, block it off so you just see this part, or maybe just this part where it's just a mouth, and then turn it upside down. Or instead of showing the whole mouth, exaggerate the features so you don't see the lips and the teeth, that kind of a thing. And that really helps to abstract it more. I really loved the images for the nonsense sentences people made and the images you had to make from those sentences. That was really good. One problem I am seeing with the Impressionist depictions is not going to be a problem in any other assignment you do. The problem is that when you guys are doing an Impressionist object from life, you're making it look too realistic. And again, that would not be a problem for any other assignment. For the Impressionist ones, if I've written some things, please don't take it harshly or anything. What we want to do is add some sloppiness to the painting that you've done. One person had done an image of an apple, and she turned around and resubmitted it after putting on expressive dot paint strokes like Van Gogh did, and things like that, adding some extra color that we don't normally pay attention to when we look at the observable world, things like that. And it turned out really well. So she started with her beautifully rendered apple, and then, for lack of a better term, sloppied it up. And that turned out looking really good. So, and if I'm saying things in the critique for the assignments and stuff like that, none of it is intended to be rude or anything like that. And if you take it that way, I'm really sorry. Please respond to me right away, and I'll clarify what I'm saying. I wrote a letter last night to everybody, an email last night, because I was really concerned that there is people are using ChatGPT or something similar, an AI writing program for their reflection response. And people have done that throughout the semester. I have given you guys some slack on it, but that is really inexcusable in an academic setting to use somebody else's work and claim that it's your own. When you are using a ChatGPT, the writing program is designed to mimic statistical groupings of words. It's not a thinking program or anything like that. AI is pretty much almost a misnomer from what we're expecting it to mean. What the AI means is that the system uses algorithms to place words together so that they sound like they are flowing voice. And those words come together as to mimic statistical groupings, not to show evidence of thought. So when you are writing a response or a reflection, what I need you to do is write it from your own perspective. And if you'd like, you can use the ChatGPT as a first draft and then add your own twist on it. But there are some very specific things, like a couple of these chat responses for the reflection included the idea, basically an overview of contemporary art, and did not include what I asked you specifically to talk about, who your favorite artist was and who the one that you didn't like, whether or not you actually liked contemporary art, if you felt that the things we looked at were art. So you needed to respond to a couple of the specific prompts in the assignment in order to get credit. So you can use the chat to kind of correlate your thoughts, but then you have to write with your own voice. If you submit a chat document as your own voice, since it's not your own voice and you're claiming it is, another word for that is cheating. It's not a good thing to get into a habit of doing. Now, this class, we are a beginning type class. The stakes are not very high. And a lot of this kind of stuff, if you've done that and you feel like you've gotten away with it because I haven't caught it, I think that's more reflective of the person submitting. I think it's more reflective of their self-esteem. And I think that's pretty sad. The universe spent 17 billion years preparing you and the world for you. And all of us are expecting your voice. So if you're submitting an AI program written response instead of your own personal reflection, you're kind of depriving us of your unique perspective. So I wish you wouldn't do that. I'm not going to go through stuff and compare things and say, oh, that person used chat. I'll give them a 0 if it does sound like it, or if it sounds like you really kind of missed the point of the reflection. I'll put a 0 on there until you explain to me what's going on. I've already had one student do that. They were using, they had found a really helpful tool for formatting their reflections so that they could organize their thoughts, and they had forgotten to edit out all the prompts. And so that was problematic. It read wrong. And when they redid the assignment, it read just fine. So be careful with what you're doing. If you get into the habit of using chat for responses on take-home tests and assignments like reflection exercises. What is sad is that will be detrimental because it will remove from you the opportunity to gain experience in verbalizing your thoughts and articulating them. And that as you move forward in your academic career and professional career, that will significantly damage your future prospective opportunities. So please stay away from that. Doing an AI writing response and using that as your own voice, because it really limits you and it deprives the rest of us from your unique perspective. If you use chat in the final and you don't correct it, if you just use that as your rough draft and submit your rough draft, then you'll get a 0 on the final. If I don't think you're paying attention to the questions and you're not responding to them directly, I may put a 0 on there and ask you to just be a little bit more reflective and articulate, and please do that. The grade you get for the final is mostly for submitting the final. It's not for how beautifully and perfectly you write. But if it does feel like you haven't thought about it at all, then you'll get a 0 until you resubmit with your actual thoughts. I had hoped that people would join for if they had questions. I did not even get any email questions. If you do have questions about assignments, go through and read the assignment a couple times and see if that helps answer them. There have been a couple people who have asked questions and it was obvious that they did not read through the assignment all the way. And some people have lost out on points because they did not read the assignment fully. One of the things I ask for in many of these studio assignments is a typed paragraph responding. And if you forget about that typed paragraph, then you won't get all the points you deserve. So please go back through that. A couple people have been very helpful. They've been retaking their quizzes, and that's something I should mention as well. They've been retaking their quizzes, and they found out that some of the I'm sorry, I'm trying to do something else right now. They found that some of the quizzes were locked, so they couldn't retake them. And I wanted to apologize for that. When they told me about it, I went through and I had reset everything so that you could retake the quizzes as many times as you want. And when they pointed that out, found out that there was some sort of a glitch or something in the system, and it made it so that they could only take the quiz once. So I fixed that. All the quizzes should be retakeable if you need to. Now, most of you have been doing a really good job on the quizzes, but if you did not get all the points that you felt you wanted to, the quizzes are open and you can retake them. And that's something that I want to talk about. Right now, everything is graded. And if you don't make any changes, you can see what your percentage is at this moment. There are several easy ways to get your grade up immediately. And I want you to be mindful of that. First, as I said, retake or take quizzes. Everything is now retakeable. And if you haven't taken a quiz, go through, look at your list of assignments and take them. If you miss a couple questions, think about what you missed and retake the quiz so you can get a higher point. That's an easy way to bring up your grade. The second, attendance. Many of you have not yet watched all the Teams meetings. That's an easy way of bringing up your grade as well. Go through and watch all the Teams meetings. You can have them playing on your ears and on your AirPods instead of music while you do other stuff. And then you write down 3 responses to what you learned. A couple people, instead of writing 3 responses from the Teams meeting, just talked about the module a bit, and that's not acceptable. That's not what we're doing. You need to respond to things that you learned from the Teams meeting itself, and even ridiculous stuff that doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the module. Like one person said, they noticed that my table was collapsing during one of the things. And that just is evidence of attendance. And that's what we're looking for. So the 3 things that you learned from the Teams meeting, so to show that you actually watched the Teams meeting. Okay, so that's easy to do to get those points. Third thing, if you feel that you haven't gotten all the points you wanted on an assignment, look at those points, look what I wrote, double check what the assignment is asking for, what the description is, and then resubmit. There are a couple of you have resubmitted something that was missing and it wipes out all the previous stuff. When you resubmit, try to resubmit with everything that you submitted previously, plus whatever else I'm asking. And then that way we have on record everything that you've done. That's an easy thing to do. Like, for example, if your impressionist painting was too clean and too nice and you needed to sloppy it up a bit, make it look more impressionistic, then go back over, revisit the painting, add on to it some of that texture, the Van Gogh type point or brushstroke texture, and then resubmit it. And that's the kind of a thing with assignments is easy to do. What I'm really impressed with is that everybody who's been doing the bibliographies, when that you've read why some points are missing, you've turned around and resubmitted it right very fairly quickly and gotten them perfect score. I'm really impressed with the PowerPoints that I'm seeing. There's a couple people where they thought they submitted the right file, but it just was the slide file and was not the narrated video file. And they turned around and resubmitted the correct one. And that really helps too. That gets your points right up. And the ones that I'm able to, all the ones that where all of you who have submitted the video files to me, I've put those on our YouTube channel and sent the links to you, and you can use that for the discussion. Again, the discussions as a result of the are associated with the PowerPoint presentation. You can do those right away. That's a good way to get your points up as well. I've been really impressed with what you guys have been doing. Now, a couple people, I think I mentioned this, a couple people have done their PowerPoint things, they recorded the narration, but they didn't send the right file. If that's you, please just resend the file, resubmit it with the correct video file. And all of you as a student of Utah Tech should have access to the Office suite, so the PowerPoint should be on there. A couple people have been having problems with that, and I noticed that they had a creative solution that I thought was absolutely excellent. They made slides, and then they filmed. They just pointed their camera at their computer, their phone, and filmed themselves showing the slides and so that we could hear their voice talking about it. And that's an excellent way to do that. And then you just email me that video file, and then I can put that on YouTube, and it's a great solution for that. A couple people, and that was kind of problematic. They couldn't get that to work, so they made the slides on their computer, and then they recorded a Teams call, and it was not a real call, but it was a call to themselves, I guess. But they opened up a Teams call. They did screen share so that we could see the slides, and then they recorded themselves talking about the slides as they were going through. Now, a couple of people have said that their microphones are not working. An easy workaround for that is to put the slides up and then record it with your phone. So again, so you have your phone pointed at your computer and you can talk about each of the slides. There are a half a dozen different YouTube videos that I put up that walk you through how to do a video of your PowerPoint slides. If you're getting frustrated, just go to those YouTube videos that are right there in the assignment and watch them and then do it. If you're still frustrated, trade something to one of your roommates or a friend to see if they can help you walk through it, or even go over to their computer with your PowerPoint slides and have them show you how to do it or walk you through it. And that's an easy way to do it. One thing I really appreciate is that everybody has been doing this at about 3 minutes, maybe a little bit over 3 minutes, and that's absolutely perfect. That's the right speed. And every one that I've seen has been exceptionally well done. You guys are doing a terrific job with this. A couple other ways to make sure you get points so that your grade comes up is turning in everything that you've done. I had one student who was getting a D plus. They were not doing really well, and they thought they had just missed out. I said, no, turn in your assignments. You have until the last day of finals. And even though we've been saying that all semester, they did not get that. Well, within 3 days, they had turned everything in, and their grade went from a D plus to an A minus. And that's how quickly they were able to do it, just because they turned stuff in. That's an easy way to get your grade up. Another issue is submitting your assignment in the right format. One of the zeros for the PowerPoint was somebody, well, one of the situations for zeros is that a couple people are submitting formats that the system just is not reading. A couple of that the computer doesn't even recognize as a format. So when you, if you're getting a zero, you'll notice in the description it'll say, well, I'm sorry, the computer just can't read it. Re-record it. Move.mov is a really good format, and the MP4 is a really good format. Both of those do really well. Do whatever you can. Talk to other roommates. See if somebody can help you, if possible, to get those points up. If you're just fed up with the whole thing, take it easy. Step away from it for a day or two, and then in a couple of days, come back, re-record it, so that you can get it in a video format and then send it to me or resubmit it. And that works really well. I feel like I'm going to sneeze in just a minute, so I'm sorry. And the last way to get your grades up, oh, pardon me, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. The last way to get your grade up that's really easy is to just see if I've seen your resubmission. A couple of you resubmitted things and right away told me that you resubmitted it, and if I didn't get to it after a couple of days, they sent me a message again. And yeah, that's annoying, but it kept it on my mind, and I have tried to make a conscious effort to make sure that I go back and revisit that. Most of the time, Canvas will tell me if you've resubmitted something, and I've gone through everything that Canvas has told me was resubmitted. If I still missed your grade and you didn't get your grade, drop me an email and let me know. Several students have done that. I really appreciate that, because it lets me know that something is done. Now, you know, if something is 2 months after the date, you submit it, and then you start sending me irritated emails and I haven't graded it right away, that's kind of silly, because you know, if you haven't been able to get to it for a couple months, it's kind of silly to expect somebody else to drop everything and respond right away. But I do try to take care of that as soon as I possibly can. Like I said, everything right now is graded, everything is up, and you have almost 2 weeks before Friday to redo stuff, to touch up stuff, to retouch stuff, whatever you need to do to get more points if you need to. So keep that in mind. And everything is due on May 5th, Friday. So that's almost 2 full weeks away. Well, it's a week and a half. The Sudiata stuff that people are doing, not a lot of people have turned that stuff in. Again, that's due next Friday as well. What I would recommend doing is turning it in by this weekend, if at all possible, so that if you don't get all the points you want, you can make the tweaks that you need to. So far, the stuff that I'm seeing has been exceptional. Very creative solutions. You're doing things that if you can't do the full-size model or full-size thing, you're making models. You're doing things so that it looks like that technology that they may have used 700 years ago, and it looks like materials they may have used 700 years ago. And I'm really liking what I'm seeing. You guys are doing a great job. Now, I did want to tell you a little bit about what our final is going to look like. On Sunday, I will upload the final assignment in Canvas, and I'll email everybody that I've done that. You will have until Friday at midnight to get that completed and turned in. The final is not going to be a proctored test. It's not going to be a test like you're used to. What it is going to be is a series of 4 reflections that give you an opportunity to talk about your favorite things and your least favorite things in this class. What was the best part of it? What was the worst part of it? What was the most surprising part? Questions like that. There'll be 4 questions. You'll need to write 35 to 50 words for each of the 4 questions, and then you'll need to submit that through Canvas. And if you want to make sure that I get it, email me also, and every night during finals week, I will sit down and grade each of the ones that I received during the day. All right, so again, that is going to all be due Friday at midnight, or 11:59, what Canvas uses instead of midnight. If it reads like it's a chat or AI wording program, you'll get a 0, and I'll say why I think that, and that gives you an opportunity to go over, put it in your own words. If you did use a chat thing and you just forgot to put it in your own words, that's fine, but it needs to be a personal reflection. It does not, it cannot be a statistical grouping of words like these AI writing programs do. So they need to be personal responses and reflections about your own personal experiences. They're not random essays. They're not just filler. They're your own personal reflection. If you do not submit that, it'll be a 0, and you'll lose a full grade for whatever grade that you earn. So please make sure that you pay attention to look for that in your email and that you respond. That is what the final is. And like I said, I will be grading it every night. I think Wednesday, I'll be on an airplane. So if I don't do it Wednesday night, I will do it with Thursday morning, and I will get those done just as quickly as I possibly can on that day. So, and during the day, as I see them come in, I will do my best to grade them as well as soon as I see them as well. So you'll know exactly where you stand. So again, I've got all the grading done up until now, and I want you to go to your Canvas thing for this class, your student portal, and look at what the grade is, and then see what you can do to change it, to bring it up, to get to where you are. There are several people that are really solid B's and A's right now, and that's excellent. That's where I hope all of you can be. And it really doesn't take a lot of energy. You do have a week and a half to address the rest of the assignments that you haven't turned in yet, or retaking quizzes, or redoing any assignments that you didn't get all the points that you want, or even finding a new format. There are a couple people where I've graded their submissions with a 0 because it's in a format that my computer simply can't read. Please go through all of your grades that you've gotten for this class and look at what I've written down. If it's something as simple as a formatting problem, take care of that right away so you can get the grade that you've earned. All right. If I was going to say if there's no questions, but since nobody's on this call other than me, it's going to be very difficult for me to answer any questions because I don't have telepathy at the moment. I'm trying to guess what other questions you might have. Again, if you are having a problem with getting that PowerPoint recorded as a narrated video, use your phone. Put the slides up on your computer screen, have the phone pointed at your computer screen, and record as you talk about each of the slides. Should be about 3 minutes. As I said, everybody who's turned this in have done an exceptional job. There's a couple of you who have done excellent PowerPoints without the narration, without the video recording. An easy way to get, if you're struggling with that and you can't get a roommate to show you how to do it, or use their computer, or your microphone's broken or whatever, use your phone and record it with your phone, right? But get that recording done so we can get that up there. And one other thing I wanted to mention is that a couple of people have said that the peer reviews function was not working. Don't worry about that. That's a free 5 extra points for that assignment for everybody, because I did not get the peer working review part working. I thought I did, but it was not. However, the discussion portion, there's two really important discussions. One is talking about or sharing your own PowerPoint and then talking about somebody else's. That discussion is really easy to get the full points on. And the second one is sharing your Sundiata or Old Mali Empire work so that everybody can see it. Both of those are really vital to do, and they're very simple to do. What I am seeing is very impressive to me is when we talked about critical thinking at the very beginning of the term, people were thinking, oh, I don't want to be mean to people. But you guys have all understood that critical thinking or artistic critique is not about being mean. It's about being intentful with articulating your thoughts and observations. And what I'm seeing as you guys are talking about world art in that assignment, as well as responding to people's PowerPoints, you guys really have an excellent handle on applying the 4 tools of artistic critique, which are describe, analyze, interpret, and evaluate. Describing, you guys are doing an excellent job articulating how something appears, what it looks like. Analyzing, you guys again are doing an excellent job in talking about how you think something was made or why it was made that way. Interpret, I like how you guys are articulating somebody's, how you feel about somebody's world view and what you think something might mean and why, or what are the triggers or what are the symbols that you see as to that make you think that the person is intending a certain message. I think you guys are doing an excellent job of that. And evaluating, you guys are doing a really good job, an excellent job of articulating why you think something is successful or not. And I appreciate that. Several of you, when you were talking about surrealist art, you say, I can't stand it. I hate it. I don't see how this could be art. But going through this exercise, I can appreciate the time and energy it takes for somebody to put this together. That is exceptional. That's an exceptional observation. Plato said that the mark of a truly educated mind is to be able to hold the worldview of somebody who doesn't think like you do. And by saying, I hate surrealism, but I can really appreciate the craftsmanship that goes into it, what you're articulating is that even though it's not a point of view that you will ever share, you can really appreciate that somebody else is able to do it and it's valid from their perspective. And that is an exceptional exceptional thing to communicate. So you guys are doing really, really well. If you do have questions, again, read through the assignment parameters, look at what I've written, and then email me. Don't get upset. What is really frustrating sometimes for me is that I am neurodiverse. And so when I write, I don't always communicate exactly what I'm saying, what I'm thinking. And please do not get upset. Don't get offended. If I've written something that seems insensitive, just explain to me what's going on. One student, I had said, well, this reads kind of like ChatGPT. She said, well, no, I have and she wrote back without being upset. She just explained, I have these formats that I use to write reflections, and I don't always erase all the prompts. And by pointing this out, I reminded me to erase the prompt. So I just cleaned it up a little bit, and that's what it is. It's not me, I think. And that was really helpful to me. And now I can see exactly where she's coming from. So please don't get offended, don't get hurt. Ask me for clarification, and do your best, and then resubmit. And I guarantee that when you do that, as you're responding to prompts and paying attention to the descriptions in the assignments, your grades will reflect that. So again, Sunday night, I will upload the 4 questions for the final, and it is vital that everybody turns that in by Friday at midnight, May 5th, Friday at midnight. And if you do not do that, you'll get a 0 for the final, and that will lower your grade by a whole grade, which don't do that. It's easy enough not to do it, so there's no reason. So answer the final questions and send them in. I want to make sure that you understand I'm not asking anything tricky. I am asking for your personal observations. So this is more of a test to see how you are doing in the class and how you think you're doing, not to extract any other information from you. So, but it is a final, and it is imperative that you do that without submitting an AI word program. All right. Thank you so much for coming through this class. I really appreciate you guys doing this. Brian Azel, who his paintings, which are really, really nice, are over at the Sears Gallery right now. He's the guy who set this all up. So it's basically his program. And I tweaked it a bit to try to clarify things for you guys and make it so that we can do it online. And I really appreciate your input and your responses to what's been going on. Several of you guys have really saved my butts by pointing out that some things were missing or weren't very clear, and I really appreciate that. So thank you very much. And I'm excited to see how the rest of our time together works out. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have an absolutely great weekend, and good luck with the rest of your finals.